What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. Force here with some more SC2 commentary. Today's game is going to be between Keyed Everize and EG's IdrA. This is a Terran versus Zerg matchup, Everize versus IdrA here on the map Ohana. And we're going to begin, as always, with some player information, starting down over here in the lower right-hand spawn position. Our red Zerg player, EG's IdrA. IdrA took 4th place at the 2012 World Championship Series USA Nationals. This was on June 9th. And then on August 26th, he took 3rd place at the 2012 BattleNet North American Championship. His opponent over here in the upper left-hand spawn position is our green Terran player, Keyed Everize. Everize, a little bit of a lesser-known player than IdrA. And actually, as a result, there is no individual Liquipedia player page for Everize. I do have some information on him, though. Everize was the winner of the Team Envy Cup tournament, in which he defeated RSVP 3-0 in the finals. He was also the winner of MLG Columbus Player Pass competition. Unfortunately, I don't have dates for those events offhand, but yeah. Again, Everize is a little bit of a lesser-known player, doesn't have his own personal Liquipedia page. The stats, the information that I was able to get for you was from actually his team page on the site. And that's enough of that, though. Let's hop right into the game. Starting out, we've got an Overlord Scout here moving out for IdrA. This is going to be pushing up to the upper right-hand portion of the map, probably hiding somewhere back here, maybe even tucking himself away here eventually to push in for secondary scouting at some point in the future. Having an Overlord outside of your opponent's main or natural, obviously pretty important for that reason. Getting that secondary scouting later in the game can prove incredibly beneficial. IdrA has decided to come out here with a hatch first. As you can see, no spawning pool yet. Also now moving out with his drone scout. Back over here, check out this Everize, very fast expansion going command center before his first barracks there. Obviously going to risk the fact that he will have very few Marines early on to defend. We'll see what IdrA decides to do as a result, if he's going to try to push out off of 2 bases and try to hit Everize really hard as a result of his incredibly fast expansion, which he will be scouting out in just one moment. Drone now moving out will be spotting the fact that, hey, holy heck, that command center is very close to finish. Let's do some damage here to this SCV. Again, going command center first means you don't have this Marine early on to defend your building expansion, so it's going to force him to come down with a few extra SCVs, one of which will be taking replacement duty on building that command center, and the injured one heading back to the mineral line here. Drone's going to push in and maybe try to see if he can get a couple more shots off. No. Looks like IdrA decides to pull back, wants to try to get out of the base before a full wall off there completes, and we do have a Marine in production, but supply blocked Everize means no Marine building, and there you go. Now that that command center has finished, extra supply, and the Marine gets to building. Back over here for IdrA, let's see what's going on. Spawning pool is now in play. He's also got an extractor up and running, working up his Vespene gas, just about to hit 100, and immediately, as soon as he does, we see that metabolic boost come through. A couple of Zerglings will be chasing back this SCV scout, so Everize was able to get a full scout of what was going on in the main there of IdrA. SCV, though, going to be taking a few shots on its way back home, and this is going to be pretty close as the Zerglings continue to make chase here and decide to peel off at the last moment. I guess he is a little bit worried. Oh, just going to grab that tower there. I got 2 Marines, which will be, of course, enough to keep that SCV safe. The Marines now moving out, and since IdrA peeled off with 1 Zergling to grab the tower, he sees what's coming, so he's going to pull back with both of his Lings there. Marines take control of the tower. They spot the fleeing Lings and decide to do nothing about it. Looks like he's just going to pull back now for fear of potentially running into more Zerglings and getting a bit overwhelmed there. Now we do have an Overlord Scout over here, and actually these Marines pulling back here for Everize to check for secondary hidden scouts, looking for potential drones or Zerglings that may be hidden along behind this 3rd mineral patch here. And he may even want to check up here because it is possible to be hiding a secondary scout up there as well. We'll see what he decides to do, though. Back over here for IdrA, loving the Overlords, spotting the edge of his base to see for potential future drops or any shenanigans that may be taking place. He's also starting to work up that creep spread. The metabolic boost has now finished, and a Roach Warren is coming through. And IdrA may be trying to push out here against Everize once that Roach Warren finishes. I will be intrigued to see what he does decide to do at that point, because I'm not seeing a 3rd coming through here yet. At least he hasn't made motion towards doing so. Back over here for Everize. Take a look at what he's got going on. Oh, look at this. Look at this indeed. Cloak research coming out here. Out of the starport, we're going to be seeing some Banshees very shortly. We also have the double Hellions coming through, 2 of which are already in play, and he's going to be pushing forward here. Now, he did scout down to check out that third, spotting nothing. That's got to be a little bit concerning. He knows that IdrA is on 2 bases. IdrA now coming out with a Baneling Nest. IdrA is going to push very aggressively, very shortly. We've got Roaches in play and Speedlings. Now that that Baneling Nest is finished, we will be seeing some Banelings morph in as well. 4 Hellions with control of that Xel'Naga Tower. He's going to see this coming here. Now we got a few Roaches pushing forward, and again, the aggression has now started. IdrA's going to have a hard time, of course, dealing with those Banshees, but his plan is going to be, let me bust through everything that Everize has, and by the time those Banshees even kill off enough, significant enough of a force, he's going to have taken so many losses that it won't be that big of a deal. So here we go now, IdrA pushing forward with his army. Speedlings and Roaches doing what they can there to the bunker. We get some mass SCV repair. It's going to make that a wee bit more difficult. Pulling back also here with his Hellions to try to defend. We're not seeing any counterattack yet. Baneling Bust breaks right through that bunker. So much damage. And IdrA continues to push here. Now Speedlings and Roaches moving forward. Speedlings trying to get up into the main. Unfortunately unable to do so as the Supply Depot lifts and blocks that off. And Roaches doing some damage here, but it looks like Everize is going to take care of the rest of this. Some more Speedlings coming down, going to assist, and there's been a lot of worker kills so far. This is going to be a huge concern here for Everize. Also forced to cancel that expansion. Still no counterattack here from Everize as he continues to just focus on dealing with this pressure, and he has taken some significant loss. Let's take a look there at the resources lost, see where both players ended up. Looks like IdrA is slightly behind right now in terms of resources lost. He has lost 2,300 as opposed to the 1,900 lost of Everize. But the big thing to keep in mind with that said is that look at all these worker kills. IdrA has killed off 16 workers. That is going to hurt Everize's economy, which we'll take a look at right now. IdrA does have a slight advantage. Now keep in mind he's not having a huge advantage here because it's not like he's been droning up crazy hard. He was really focused on building a lot of units for that engagement. And now here comes the counterattack from Everize. Move forward with his Banshees and Hellions. He's going to be taking out these Queens very quickly. Takes out a Banshee though with that detection from the Spore Crawler. Extra damage plus the Queen damage. And this one, Everize dropping the ball there. Ends up losing that Banshee, which he definitely should not have. He really should not have lost that Banshee at all, to be honest with you. The fact that he kept it within that Spore Crawler damage, definitely a bit of a mistake. He could have peeled that off and brought it over here to try to do some damage. And maybe try to hit up one of these, maybe try to hit up one of these tech buildings. That's the word I'm looking for. I am losing it, I'm telling you. IdrA now coming out here with a third. Got some Roaches now breaking down these rocks as well, providing him a little bit of an easier avenue to move down and defend this position. Let's take a look at Everize's vision, see what he's got going on. We got one Banshee moving down over here. It's got 0 kills so far. Might change in a moment. No, those Roaches pull back to the safety there of the Spore Crawler, and the Spore is going to reroute himself into a better position. We got another Spore Crawler also coming out. There's the Cloak engaged, and not going to be enough, though. He's going to be able to kill off a couple of workers here. Once that second Spore finishes, that should be enough to pretty much take care of this expansion, make it nice and safe against any potential future harassment. And the Banshee dies again. Everize once more, losing a Banshee pretty much unnecessarily. I think had he been paying 100% attention to what was going on there, he definitely wouldn't have lost that. But that's just my opinion. What do I know? I guess not that much. All right, now Everize moving forward again with some more Banshees. He also has, I believe, some Hellions over here. And there's a scan from Everize, allowing him to take out a few of these creep tumors. That is, of course, going to cut back on IdrA's vision, and as that creep proceeds, he doesn't get the advantage of that extra speed for his units on it. Roach is moving forward to try to engage with those Hellions, and I'm taking some damage here from the Banshee. Forward Spore Crawler, though, going to help him get very close to taking out that Banshee. More scans, more creep tumor loss, and IdrA continues to get hit with this. Moving in with a Sacrificial Overlord Scout here just to see if there's a heavy transition or if he's going to be dealing with more of the same. Looks like we're going to see a transition, though, into some Tank and Thor action. We saw that Siege Tech researching, plus we got some Thors in production. So he's going heavy mech after this here, which I guess is pretty much to be expected. IdrA continuing to try to break down these rocks to help defend against his third. As of now, he's dealt with most of the threat. We do have some more Hellions moving in. They're going to be encountered by these Roaches here, and that's going to force them back. And more Hellions now trying to push towards the third. Here comes some economic damage that IdrA's going to have to deal with. Ouch, the Hellions are roasting those workers. That is painful. That is very painful indeed. Take a look at the worker kills. Everize now leading 25 worker kills as opposed to just the 16 of IdrA from his initial engagement. More worker kills about to come down here as Everize moves forward here with these Hellions, and he's going to do some continuous damage. IdrA getting smacked here. Taking such a loss. Finally able to deal with the last of those Hellions, but let's take another look. 45 worker kills for Everize. Wow, you know, after dealing with that initial assault there from IdrA, he took some pretty hefty damage, but he has responded in due turn, doing quite a bit of damage himself. Everize now seems to be in a commanding position. IdrA has lost more resources. He's taking a much larger worker count kill as well. Worker count kill, is that proper? No, probably not. Here comes a here comes a large push though from IdrA. Hefty amount of roaches moving across the map. And roaches are going to be a fair response there to the mech-heavy army that we are seeing from Everize. Once those roaches get up close to the tanks and Thors, it's devastating. And there's a perfect example. Roaches moving right up on top of those Thors and tanks, and they're going to take them out quickly. But the support fire from the Banshees really starting to thin out those roach numbers. Still able to take care of a majority of that ground force here. Some roaches now also peeling off, trying to go and kill off some SCVs, while the rest of the roaches get mopped up down over there. We'll get a couple of worker kills, now trying to take out some Hellions and turning face on a supply depot. Try to focus there on a few of those SCVs if he can. SCVs able to just sneak away though. Roach is a little bit too slow to keep up with them indefinitely. And there you go, the roach count has been taken care of. Everize defends himself against IdrA's counterattack. And let's take another quick look here at the resources lost. Evening things up a little bit. Also getting a few more worker kills himself. Not many more though, now only up to 19. So IdrA definitely has some making up to do here. He is coming out with a fourth though, which is going to help him, but pretty much necessary now that Everize is over here on a third. SCV's forced to pull off again as the roaches move down. We also got some Speedlings attempting to move up in that position. Unfortunately, with the tanks and Hellions, you know, Everize having no problem dealing with that. Missile turrets getting taken out. That is just in case IdrA starts to utilize these burrowed roaches. He wanted to make sure he had those missile turrets to be able to detect that. And again, IdrA taking that out for future use. Looks like he's just throwing away these roaches at this point. Does he have something else going on that I'm not noticing here, though? I wonder why he's not paying attention to those roaches. I'm not sure. He doesn't have any other engagement going on. And it doesn't look like he was defending against anything either. So I'm not quite sure what IdrA was doing there with those roaches. Maybe just a temporary slip there. Hellions moving forward to try to push towards this third again and do some more damage. The Blue Flame Hellions just tear apart workers. Roaches trying to make chase a little bit too slow, but once they catch up, that is goodbye Hellions. And now the transition into Mutas, and that's going to be a pain here for these Banshees. Everize is going to need to take advantage of the Thors, which he doesn't have any in play right now. No Thors in play. This is a problem. He is going to be relying on missile turrets for the moment. Unfortunately, unable to build this missile turret in time, and even once he does, it's going to get target fire down. SCV is just going to go to mass repair and try to see if he can keep it alive, and he is able to. At least it's threatening enough to force these guys back. Look at this, though. Oh gosh, so many tanks and so much danger, but one missile turret is enough to really deter them. And here we go, the Speedling and Roach is now pushing towards the third. This third is in a lot of trouble with the Mutas over here preventing the Hellions and tanks from moving down to defend. Speedlings and Roach is going to tear that apart. That's a problem here for Everize. This expansion is a goner. He's going to be forced to lift that off. Looks like we are going to have some counter-aggression moving out, though, in the form of these Banshees. So Everize is going to try to do some damage himself. But this expansion is a goner, and now that he lifts it off, here come the Mutas to do some damage and hopefully take that out there. Banshee's moving down to this expansion. He's going straight for that hatchery. Going to try to take that out if he can. This orbital command needs to get repaired. Doesn't in time. Loses that. Now he is just on 2 bases. Very few resources. Banshee's still over here doing some damage. Some Mutas move down to defend, though. And is it going to be enough? Yes, it is. Just barely defends this expansion. So he's going to be able to go straight back to mining unless we've got some more Banshees over here to push out, which it doesn't look like we do. That's a problem. Everize, is he going to try to move out just to defend his third base? Probably going to be the wise move there. Large group of Mutas, though, and even with some missile turret defense, this is a very, very large, I'll call it a death cloud of Mutas. which becomes very imposing. Xel'Naga Tower was controlled by that Zergling, so he sees this moving across the map. Is just going to respond by pushing into the main here. I guess he's confident enough with the army that he has to defend. Couple transfuses going down on the hatchery, hopefully keeping it alive a little bit longer, allowing him to continue to mine from there. Roaches get right up under the tanks before they siege up, and that's a problem. That is a huge problem, as he's going to take them out very quickly. There's the good job from Everize, and what a game here between IdrA and Everize. GG IdrA. Alright my friends, thank you so much for watching this game here between IdrA and Everize. Absolutely phenomenal and entertaining back and forth between these two players. You know, we saw IdrA initially push out, do a fair amount of damage, but then Everize returned with a tremendous counterattack, killing off so many of IdrA's workers. And then IdrA responds again, transitioning into mutas, which unfortunately for Everize he was unprepared for, and that was really the key turning point here in this game where IdrA took a commanding lead. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this game here between IdrA and Everize. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Stay tuned in the future for more SC2 and gaming content here on the channel. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Keep watching and keep owning.